What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Johnny Boy Wilson, for boosting up your man the YB's coin at a dire time. No doubt. So, as you've seen by the title, and as you can see on your screen right now, Mike Wilson has leaked the news that Alexander Usyk will not be joining his counterpart Lomachenko, and instead Usyk will indeed be dodging the draft and signing up to the AJ rematch. Now again, for you man who don't know, a month ago, Team Usyk and Team Lomachenko allegedly went back to the Ukraine, their home country, to sign up with the armed forces. Now, since then, obviously, there's been a lot of intrigue into what's going to happen with their boxing careers. Lomachenko allegedly was engaging with negotiations with George Kambosos for a unification fight, or for a big fight there, and Usyk obviously, and Anthony Joshua Johnston. Since then, in the last few days, Lomachenko's come out and shut down the rumours that he's going to be fighting George Kambosos, and thus George Kambosos has locked in with Devin Haney, or is locking in with Devin Haney. Meanwhile, Alexander Usyk, unfortunately today, that's the news that Mike Coppinger's bringing us, that Usyk is instead deciding to leave the country and get into camp for the June date against Anthony Johnston. Now, here's the article itself. Alexander Usyk and AJ are going to run it back this summer. Usyk will cross the border from Ukraine to Poland and begin training camp for the heavyweight title rematch this summer, sources told ESPN. The unified champion joined a territorial defense battalion in Kiev last month after Russia invaded Ukraine. During the war, Ukraine instituted martial law and banned men fit to serve aged 18 to 60 from leaving the country. Efforts were made with the Ukrainian government to allow Usyk's longtime friend Vasily Lomachenko to depart the nation to pursue a fight with George Kambosos for the undisputed lightweight championship on June 5th in Australia. Lomachenko ultimately decided to remain in Ukraine and forgo the fight. Usyk, however, does not need permission to leave Ukraine because of an exemption in the law for parents of 3 or more children under the age of 18. Usyk has 3 children, Lomachenko has 2. So, there you go then. Now, I can't lie. I actually thought that, bear in mind, the Lomachenko news came out first, yeah? The Lomachenko news that he was staying came out first, and I thought, well, I mean, from a public point of view, from a public reception point of view, I thought it's going to be very difficult for Usyk to do the opposite, yeah? If Lomachenko says, no, I'm going to stay, and Usyk says, no, I'm going to check out, it'd be a bit awkward. But then again, I do also respect Usyk's doing what he wants to do, ultimately, yeah? A lot of guys these days do go along with the narrative, yeah? So the fact Usyk is deciding to do his own thing, I respect that. Most people would say, oh, well, if it makes me look bad. Usyk don't care, oops, yeah? So on that note, I give him full respect, but like I said the other day, Usyk came out and said, oh, I'm going to be doing this, I've got the gun, I've got the shtick, and I'm going to get busy, and now he's checking out. That, for me, is suspect. I believe Usyk needs to put out another message saying to the people, listen, I'm for the coin, yeah? Because it's no good gassing the public up, saying everyone should fight, and then meanwhile, you're going off, you're swanning off to make millions of dollars. Again, I'm for everyone's individual rights, but be consistent. If it's about the coin, I believe Usyk should tell everyone, listen people, it's about the coin. Do what puts the most coin in your pocket. Not, oh yeah, let's gas everyone up to fight and then I'll see you later. I mean, yeah, because now it's almost too late now. Now it's almost gone too far. People who have committed, it's too late now. Now Usyk and all the public, all the elites and the celebrities who we know are influencers, now they've, think about it, I'm sure loads of people who saw Usyk in the photo ops saw that and thought, oh yeah, well, Usyk's staying, I'm going to stay. But again, now it's too late. Now we're 30, 45 days later. People don't have tens of thousands of dollars to change their decision now. Now everyone's locked in. Meanwhile, Usyk now flip-flopping. He went from posting pictures saying, yeah, I'm going to be here and we're digging in, to now saying, oh, actually, I'm checking out. I think that's for me, that's two-faced. Usyk must have known his decision. I don't believe that you can pick and choose like that. You'd know if you want to fight or not, wouldn't you? Let's be real now. For me, it's not one of them ones. It's not something where you say, well, yeah, I might do, I might not. You know, I'm going to fight or I'm not going to fight. So, this really tells me I don't believe Usyk really been doing any fighting either. I believe, much like the Klitschko's, they've just been posting photo ops. I don't believe they've been anywhere near the action. Again, that's their right to do that, but don't be misleading. Yeah? If you don't want to fight, don't fight, but be consistent. I'm not fighting, I'm making millions of dollars. Everyone should do the same. Yeah? Because there's way too much of a narrative of, oh, well, you need to be a warrior or whatever else. Well, the masses, we're supposed to be warriors. Meanwhile, everyone else worries about coin. That's what this is showing for me. The elites and the celebrities, they worry about their pockets, and we're supposed to, and then meanwhile they'll hold all of us lot to the whole. I've even seen it myself. When I told you, man, that I wouldn't fight. Yeah? This shows you the crab in the barrel mentality of the lower and middle classes. Yeah? The elites put down these narratives of, oh, you must be patriotic, you must be a warrior, you must defend your home. Meanwhile, all they do is line their pockets. Yeah? But they put these narratives out there for a reason, to keep all the lower ones bickering. Oh, what? And you can just imagine it. You can imagine, yeah, if, I mean, we even saw it back in Vietnam or whatever, but you can just imagine if people don't choose to go, it's your social, oh, you can't believe you're dodging the drought, oh, you're a dodger, yeah? No one weren't telling the elites they're dodgers though, was they? Oops, yeah, do you understand? Them narratives about dodging, they're put down, they're the ones sent down. That's why you'll see on Fox News or whatever, oh, you're dodging. Meanwhile, the anchor who's on the TV, he ain't going. Why aren't you going in? You know what I'm saying? So I find it funny. So again, you have to see where these things are coming from. Yeah, and Usyk put the message out of fighting, which is great. If he wanted to get stuck in, great for him. But then he's now showing his privilege, because other people who are now, it's too late for them. Yeah. I mean, people have already obviously died or whatever, so it's certainly too late for them. But this whole one foot in, 1 foot out, and picking and dipping and dipping out, this ain't one of them ones for me. This is a very sensitive situation, and you must, especially as an influencer, make your position clear. If you want to fight, you're going to fight. If you're not, you're not. That's what should have happened from Team Usyk, in my opinion. Because now it just kind of, I mean, what is the message now? What is the message Usyk's giving? And I think he does need to clarify that. Now, one thing I will say is, don't forget, we are assuming this is a message put out from ESPN, so it's a pretty good source, Mike Coppinger. But he has been wrong in the past, and if it turns out that Usyk is choosing to stay, fair play to him. But even then, like I said, I'm skeptical of what he's doing there anyway. Yeah, until I see it myself with my own eyes, my bet would be that Usyk and Lomachenko, they ain't doing nothing. That's my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, put my hands in the air and say I'm wrong. I'm just skeptical of. I've never seen any of these celebrity cats getting busy like that. Yeah, that's what I haven't seen. And when I see it, I give them credit. And that shows your privilege, because we're all, yeah. Just because you're famous, that means you don't have to get busy. That don't make no sense to me personally. Yeah, if my life's good enough to get. You know what I mean? If my wig is good, if my wig's good enough to get pushed off my head for me, then your wig is good enough to be pushed back too. Yeah? And it's so funny, they talk about democracy. Oh, we got to defend democracy. Well, defending democracy means everyone's equal. Oops. And on that basis, get your rich asses down there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. If you want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? That's what we should do. Let's make sure everyone getting stuck in then. Let's make sure the wig pushing back in is democratically spread out as well. Because that don't make no. Wait a minute. All the elites and all the celebrities who are putting the narrative of fighting for democracy out there, your wigs aren't being democratically split, are they? Oops. You understand? Yeah. Let's do some democratic wig splitting. Let's make sure. Let's make sure everyone's wig getting split nice and equally. How about that? But anyway. Like I said, let's not turn. I did a video the other day on more political things, but let's get back to the boxing side of things. So Usyk, this is, for the sport's sake, this is good. As far as boxing goes, this for me is the best outcome. Why? Because I want the best Usyk there, and I believe this is going to actually generate the best Usyk. There's no way. I mean, Usyk before this was aggressive, or not aggressive, but he was extremely focused, and I gave Usyk a lot of credit for going against all the odds. Yeah, he was away from home, 90,000, against the bigger man, the more explosive man, the more genetically advanced man, in my opinion, etc., etc. And despite all that, he came out in the first round and popped AJ in the mouth. That gets full marks. Now, even that being the case, we've now got all this going on. Now, Usyk, in my opinion, if there was ever a time he can't lose, innit? If there's ever a time he must give it his all and be totally ferocious, it'd be now, wouldn't it? When he's pulling the whole of Ukraine on his back at this particular point in time. So I believe this is going to generate the best Usyk, and therefore, this means it's going to be the hardest fight for AJ, and that's what AJ deserves. It's so funny, yeah? Eddie Hearn yesterday was getting cocky. Eddie Hearn was out here saying things like, we're going to have to put... Well, basically, when Eddie Hearn found out that Lomachenko had said he was staying, because initially, when it came out that Lomachenko and Usyk were applying to leave, Eddie Hearn was silent, didn't say nothing. Then it came out that Lomachenko was going back. Sorry, when that Lomachenko was staying, all of a sudden, Eddie Hearn started getting cocky. Oh yeah, we're going to put pressure on Usyk. We want to know what he's going to do. And the reason Eddie Hearn got cocky at that point was because he was thinking, wait a minute, if Lomachenko said he's staying, then that means Usyk's going to stay. So all of a sudden, we're going to push for a date. I'm sorry, we're going to have to push. But guess what? Now you ain't hearing Eddie Hearn doing no pushing. Yeah? He ain't doing no pushing. Eddie Hearn was happy to push for an answer when he thought that it was going to be Usyk staying away. Because Eddie Hearn's best bet now, from Team AJ's point of view, their best bet is for a warm-up fight. This is literally the worst outcome for Team AJ. Especially given the uncertainty. I feel like AJ really has been not taking it easy, but his whole setup's been uncertain. I said back in September, AJ within 2 months should have done a big experiment, a big tester, and then locked in. That was 4 months ago. AJ's been fluttering around for the last 6 months, doing God knows what. I mean, the fact that we're just hearing now that James Ali Bashir is just coming into the camp, AJ thought 6 months ago. What have you been doing for 6 months? Why is James Ali Bashir only coming in now? It shows you the lackadaisical approach, in my opinion. And he's going to pay for that. He really is. And they've only got, 3 months left now. If I was Team AJ, some way, somehow, I would find a way to delay this. But then again, he's been out the ring 9 months already. Or June will be 9 months out. But so will Usyk, so there's no disadvantage, I guess. So really, the best advantage for AJ would be to stretch this out longer than June. In my opinion. Because he's going to be fighting the baddest Usyk. That's for sure. And in really, God works in good ways, I believe. And this for me is a good way. AJ doesn't deserve anything less than the absolute hardest, best Usyk. That's what he's earned himself. Because he made this problem for himself. If he'd have come out, if he'd have picked the phone up a year ago, YB, you're coming in, yeah? I'm done with all these funny style cats. YB, come in, yeah? No KO, no fee. Oops. He could have done that, but he didn't. He thought he was smart. He brought in all these goofies, and that's why he is where he is right now. Yeah. So his own actions have manipulated the world into this situation where he finds himself, and that is facing off against a man who's going to be purely on this thing. Yeah. He's going to be purely on his job. Usyk will be. Now, like I said, from a sporting fan's point of view, this does get me really intrigued, because there was questions after the first fight. Well, Usyk could have gone for the stoppage, and I believe, Team Usyk have been known to be overly cautious. I just hope that this whole Ukraine thing has got Usyk vying for a KO, because we've never actually seen Usyk, because people credit Usyk with being a great tactician, and I agree to some extent, or I agree he's a great defensive or a great neutral tactician. But a true tactician, in my opinion, is being able to tactically score a knockout, because the knockout is the pinnacle in boxing, yeah? So you can't be an overall great tactician if you're not tactically achieving the pinnacle. Same as Floyd Mayweather. You'll hear me say all the time, Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive fighter of all time. He can't be the best fighter by definition, because the best fighter has to, at some level, has to include stoppages or knockouts. Has to, because that's the pinnacle. Yeah, being able to nick a fight on points, that's only half the game. Being able to win a fight and do it by stoppage, that's a true tactician, because you're finding a way not only to beat someone, but to completely take their will and get them to flop onto the floor. Yeah. No man wants to be spark out cold. So being able to take that from a man, being able to steal a man's consciousness clean out of his head for him, that's something else. And I'd love to see Usyk and his team go in there and build a plan with that in mind. Yeah, stealing Johnston's consciousness right out of his barnet for him. That's what the plan should be. And that, imagine the message that would send. That would send a message of strength to his people. Yeah, that's what I believe Team Usyk should be doing, thinking about, cooking up right now. There's no reason not to, especially given how the last fight ended. I mean, if that wasn't a show of what could be, I mean, a few rounds earlier, and man, yeah, if Usyk had to put the hammer down a few rounds earlier, it would have been a stoppage. So, yeah, let's see what happens anyway. Like I said, these reports are coming from Mike Coppinger, who's a good source from ESPN, but maybe Usyk gonna say no, it's not true. And if that's the case, fair play to him for staying. Yeah, to some extent, because I'm not sure if it's fighting, but whatever. Do you know what I mean? One of them ones. Listen, let's see how it plays out. Team AJ, what we know is Team AJ, their back ends are flapping right now. You best believe it too. Team AJ are. It's bad. It's bad for Team AJ. Team AJ went from lining up some bum to fight, to knock over, to now they've got the most vicious version of Usyk. And the last version of Usyk nearly left him flat on the canvas in that 12th round. Yeah, this really is a worrying situation for Team AJ to be in, no doubt.